Hello, I'm Toycat and welcome back to another third channel Let's Play video. Today we're playing some more Pocket City on Expert mode, the hardest of the modes. And today we have, we've left the game running at a pretty healthy profit. So we've got ourselves 100 grand, and we also will finally be able to pay back our loans and everything else we need to do. Although first we're going to build a police station because crime is apparently on the up and up in this city. But yeah, I'm really excited about today's thing because it's been so long since I recorded part 2. You're not meant to admit this as a YouTuber, but like I sometimes stagger the recording of these parts, and honestly, recording the last parts and then uploading them, I was just like super down. Not only about the videos because they got a little bit desynced, and I was like, well, no one wants to watch these. They're basically worthless. Might as well just give up and assume the videos are worthless. But fortunately, I decided against that in the end, and I uploaded them, and a lot of people actually did like them, which is interesting because as a YouTuber, you're in this permanent position of like, well, people like the things you put out, and a lot of people just assume people will like anything you put out. Screw those people. But I've always been the opposite camp of that one, where like, why does anyone like anything that comes out of me? So thank you to everyone that is subscribed to the channel that makes stuff like that fun and possible. So we're going to place a water tower there, I guess, and then maybe another one next to it because we don't want to have this issue coming again. And now let's talk about what we're doing today. Actually, level up, heck yeah. But yeah, so this. Oh no, I'm not recording the in-game audio. What I can do is I can magically midway through show you some magic here, show you me recording the in-game audio, and then if I tap this again, you're seeing the rawest version of this, and then we go like that, and everything's gonna be magic. Now we tap this away. Boom, we've got 1,968 minutes to go, so I guess that's how long this episode will be. So, anyway, with that said, welcome to episode 15 of Mint City Let's Play. Soon we'll be able to change that name into something a lot more fun, and yeah, I'm super hyped about this expert mode thing, because honestly, a part of me is always bummed out. When I think of this game, I think, like, I've completed it, but I didn't really complete it, and that's why I wanted to come back here on expert, because, sometimes you finish and you're like, well, where do I go now? I can't just redo it. What if I did it slightly better? And that's kind of where today's thing is going. So the first thing I want to do is I want to buy some beachfront property. It really hurts me to have to do this, but one of the challenges requires a beachfront property, and that means I'm buying some land for 30 grand, which it's mostly unusable. It's mostly water, but we're going to need sea containers later anyway, so we might as well, I guess. The second thing we're going to do is finally go back in and repay this loan. Yeah, we're going to pay back the loan. It sucks because it costs 57,000, so that's like all of the money gone. And yeah, you can see the problem with expert mode. It's kind of fun, but that's why we're here today, so we can play Pocket City. We can get our city pocketed and cities and experted, whatever, and also so we can deal with the major problems such as climbing a mountain. The dude who wants a room with a view, which again, I'm gonna build a house just for this one firefighter, because I totally did this challenge, right? Hey, I did this. Yeah, if you want to keep land, yeah, I bought your land. I'll have you know. You should reward me for that. But yeah, basically, we'll be doing all the major kind of challenges because that's what you do in this game, and also because it makes you feel good sometimes. Like, oh, there's a firefighter. He's defending my city. You know what I'll do to make this better for him? I'll build him his own special road right here, going all the way to the beach, and then literally on the beach we'll have just a single house, because who needs logic when you got a house by the beach? Because I kind of like when you're playing a city simulator, it's always tempting to build the most efficient thing, and eventually you've always got to go back there. But it's also kind of fun to be like, it would be nice to have a separate little beachfront property. Like, yeah, do all the inefficiencies that humans do, because we're all human on the inside. Even if you don't want to be human, you are still human. So, speaking of being a human, which I hope that anyone watching this video is, if you're a robot, then make sure you rate 5 stars, and you give this video a favourite. Hit that bell if you want to watch any more of this video. I guess honestly, trying to sell robots and why they should hit the bell button, probably the least likely version of where this will go. But also, I'm gonna try resources. I guess is where we can get ourselves a farm. I'm gonna place our farm just over here. It should be further out of town, like here. So should we place it? Yeah, let's just place it there too. And yeah, now look at this. We've got another source of income, which is probably going to be way more important in this version. Last time I ignored it. This time it'll be more important. So we've got perfectly balanced supply and demand. Our taxes are probably a bit too high for most people, but again, we're not really caring too much about most people. And our recreation, environment, crime, safety, it's all doing pretty good. Everyone's happy about everything besides the darn taxes, which be too high apparently. But yeah, as you can see, we're losing 635 a second on the zone upkeep. So we want to start importing less food, and then eventually exporting some, because that just seems like a good idea, right? So we're just going to keep on resourcing it up, just place farm after farm after farm. Oh, we can place literally 2 farms. Well, farm after farm And then that's the end of that sentence. So I get myself the grow local achievement, get me all the way to 16 one hogs. And boom, look at this, we're getting even closer. Level up, level 16. In fact, I missed that noise, I'm gonna put in my headphones so I can hear what you guys just enjoyed. So yeah, let me speak about something kind of important on this channel that I kind of want to do every now and then, because like, I've mentioned on my main channel a few times, just like very offhandedly, like, oh yes, like as a teenager, dealt with like some real, not real, I mean like, it is real, but I mean like, dealt with some, I guess like, what I would call serious depression issue. I guess the thing is like, if you're like depressed, it's serious no matter what, right? If you have any mental ailment that prevents you from doing the real activities in the real world that you need to do to be a functional human being, that's bad regardless, right? There's no real or bad, but like, I would say like some pretty serious stuff, and like I think like recently I went through like the worst phase of like hating everything I think I'd gone through in quite some time, and I figured, you know, why not share at least some of the thought process with all of you. Also, I think we should have another quest right there. Why not share some of the thought process with all of you, and I guess just talk maybe about something that might help someone, and also just explain where I've been at the last few weeks. I mean, with this channel, but I mean like just in general. Because it's been like really affecting everything it's doing me. Also, look, you can see I'm like rolling in the money, which is a good thing. It means we can now afford to make some more residentials, which is, you know, it's a good thing. It's what you want to be able to make. But yeah, let me talk vaguely about it then, shall I? Because I think so right now on YouTube, or just before right now, I went through like one of the worst phases of I think my channel, I mean, like, really, I guess, downturn in terms of percentages of my channel's history. It was like, everything was, like, crashing down on me. And at the same time, like, thing after thing after thing about my house was coming in. And at the same time, probably because of, like, said depression, I was having, like, awful dreams and awful sleep. I think maybe having awful dreams is related to awful sleep. Like, your best sleep is when you wake up and you're like, that was a pleasant dream. Or you're just like, whoa, 9 hours have passed and I can feel it. I don't know where they went, but they went somewhere. Those are the two dream situations where you're doing well. I was having like horrific dreams and like throwbacks to, I had a girl ghost me once, like we dated, and at the end of the relationship, rather than ending it, she figured, what if I just vanish? And like, I don't know why that like gave me some like trust issues for a while. I guess I didn't really appreciate when it first started happening, but like it throws me off every now and then, like, you know, what if someone just vanishes tomorrow or whatever? And yeah, I guess like that happening at the same time as like, because you know the thing about YouTube, like the burnout issue has been hot on the world stage. So let me throw my little 2 cents in that like YouTube is like on a constant drive to try and make you make more for YouTube. It works quite well on YouTube's end because they get a lot of videos out of you, and it works well on your end when you're playing the game right and when it's working right. Because when YouTube is feeding you views, it feels good. It's feeding you attention. It's feeding you money, I guess, too, but just like you feel like what you're doing is being appreciated by the world, and it's a good feeling, and you're like, yeah, this is me. When you're doing good on YouTube, you feel like it's what you've done, and when you're doing bad on YouTube, it's entirely out of your control. I mean, like, sometimes it's because people mess up, let's be honest, like, it's not entirely out of your control, but usually speaking, it's not in your control. It's not something you are directly controlling, and that feels really, really, really rough on YouTube sometimes. My phone is vibrating like crazy, but that feels really, really rough on YouTube sometimes. Like, because what it really is like, something happened, is it you? You don't know, you have no real clue. YouTube doesn't give you the information, it's just like, hey, something's gone wrong right there, and now 50% of the people who want to watch your videos, we're not sending them to you. That's what it is, like, it's not even that people don't want to watch what you're putting out, it's that sometimes, like, YouTube isn't sending it to them, or isn't recommending it as highly as it did before, and that's insanity material, right? Like, imagine being at a job where they would cut your pay by half, as well as cut what your, like, your self-satisfaction of your job, and at the same time, you know, like, wouldn't give you a reason. You're like, can I request a review? What's up with that? Like, how about we get this right on track? And they're like, no, there's nothing, everything's according to plan, sir. And it's like, what do I deserve? What, you know, and that, I think, on top of, like, everything else, like, caused, like, this just huge, kind of, like, I guess, downward spiral. So let me give you just, like, a few things of, like, here's some mental health advice or whatever that maybe would have helped me, or maybe it doesn't help you, and you're just like, yeah, this was worthless to look at. But it's something I feel like we should go through regardless. Also, I finally got this quest done. Oh, it was probably for buying a certain amount of land, and it just didn't tell me. But we're level 17. Look at me. 5,000 whole dollars. We are rolling through this. Now we have to find some treasure, which I already did find, but I mean, let's see if we can find some more, maybe? Okay, we gotta just keep on going at that. Oh, we got an income requirement. So all we have to do to get that income challenge done, again, this sucks that it's gonna lose some people in our city. We just raise taxes super high, right? Like income tax, sales tax. Make everyone wildly unhappy, but before they leave, they make us a lot of money. Right? Wait. Oh no, this is backfired. This is backfired horrendously. Okay, well, we tried. I guess what we'll do instead then is we'll build a bunch of houses. You know, stimulate the economy, or the whatever we're going to call it today. Just over there. Nice and easy. Get that going. Rolling in it. I like that our city just slowly expands episode by episode, because on Expert, getting any expansion done is genuinely quite tricky. So keeping on top of it makes me feel very good. But no, I really think that like keeping so okay, I guess your regular health is something people don't really look after either. Like when you're feeling sick or like seriously something's wrong, you're like, I'll get that looked at, and then life gets in the way, and then you never do, which is like horrendous. Like that's not how you should do things, right? But it's what I feel like everyone does. It's just like, oh, get to that. Don't worry, it's gonna happen soon. There will be a time where we are totally having dealt with that. But in the meantime, it just kind of gets left by the wayside. And it's interesting that that's also, we hit 1,500 people. Yeah, give me some more XP. Give me that next level too, maybe, if you're into it. Or maybe don't give me that. But like the thing is that like you don't look after your regular health, and people look after even less their mental health. Like the thing about being depressed or being sad or being in a funk, whatever you want to call it, I feel like applying the label, it's not necessarily a good thing for the world. But like when you're in a bad situation mentally, your brain is what needs to fix it, and your brain is what's broken or whatever. And that's like a really bad place to be in, which is why like I guess like with any medicine area or area of health, the best thing is like prevention. Like always like keep an eye on yourself. Try and work out when you're on the downward spiral. Don't just assume it will get better. Actively work on it, because when you hit, there's a point you can hit where everything in your life just feels destroyed. And you're just like, I'm done. I don't like when you're depressed, you're in the worst mindset to deal with depression. When you're down, you're in the worst place. Oh, I maxed out my money somehow. Jesus, we are gonna have to buy places like it's no one's business. How did that happen? We're doing good at this game apparently. So we'll buy this one over here for 50,000. They're getting more and more expensive, like at a pretty concerning rate actually. Like I kind of just want to get the chests, but I didn't realize. Oh, and we got a tornado. You know, I said too many nice words. I said it was just happening too easily. So how a block party to raise people's spirits and get them to So yeah, just a quick little lesson. Figured I'd give it here on the third channel. If you're watching this, if you don't know who I am and you're like, well, this Token guy sure does suck, then I'm sorry, but I just wanted to give a valuable message out there that if you're on the way down, then try desperately to get yourself back on the way up. And if you're in a situation where you're down, you're like, well, that's not useful. I'm here. What do I do? I feel depressed and I feel all sorts of things. You gotta really fundamentally work out. Try at least to work out what is making you sad. And sometimes you make a list where obviously you're gonna be like, well, I can't do anything about any of this, and therefore I'm just more about this. But like trying your hardest, such garbage advice, but like it really is. In my opinion, like it's hard. It's not gonna be easy. Like people who give you easy advice, like, oh, you've just got to use positive thinking. You visualize being happy, and then you are happy, man. No, they're just people who got really spiritual, and that, you know, like I guess like it's called preaching for a reason, right? Like people who are just like, oh, this worked for me, and therefore I'm gonna assume pretty handily that it works for everyone. But that's not how anything in the world. Oh, we just probably like go back and look at recreation, fire safety, and yeah, all this stuff is. Yeah, you know, how about we fast track that fire department? How about we get that going right now? And you know, actually a crime safety department as well. Let's do police department as they call it in this game. What a weird term. Get that one going right next to it. And actually, you know, let's get some recreation going on. Fun, movie fit. I guess a good few aquariums. Like everybody loves an aquarium here and there. Let's give the people what they want. You know, a good old art gallery. Right next. Oh, that's a movie theater. Yeah, a good old art gallery, a good old aquarium. All these things are good. An art gallery next to the police station, so we'll have police that when they're done with their job, they'll go and they'll get some art in them. Which I feel like if more police, like, because, you know, the problem people have with police is like 1% or like maybe 5% or maybe 3%, whatever, some small percentage of police officers are the police that everyone hates. Like, there are communities where they just don't trust police officers. It's usually rural places, if we're being honest. Because they have few impacts with police officers and usually negative. Like, oh, they did something bad I don't want. And that also happens in cities if you have a bad interaction with police officers. If we just had, like, super smart police officers, they were into art, they could, like, give you a philosophical, psychological reference. Maybe if they could deal with your mental health on the spot right there, like, oh, hey, man, I see you're committing a crime. Maybe you're just depressed. Have you considered the word of the Lord? Or, I don't know, like, actual advice. But no, I think, no, the actual solution is just try and work out what is bad and what is good. And that's such a simplistic thing. But for me, it's like, working out the cause of sadness, it's hard. It's a real tricky task. Maybe people can't do it. Maybe everyone can. I've always wondered, like, is my brain more complex than average or less complex than average? I don't know, because I don't know other people's brains. But, like, one of the things for me is, like, browsing a lot less on my phone. I use my phone for gaming still, because it's fun. Look how ugly the back of this is. It's so smudged. I'm sorry. I'll clean my phone before my next thing. But, sometimes it's it's like a thing where... Also, we're just killing it today, aren't we? We're absolutely destroying it. We're gonna have to build a new bank soon based on all this. In fact, actually, let's buy this area and let's make some shipping docks, because we have this perfect location for it, in my opinion at least. But yeah, I think trying this is very simplistic. This wouldn't work for everyone. Blah 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 blah. But I think to me, it's just like working out all the things that make you feel not depressed or whatever. And then trying an action plan to get them in place. I think, honestly, it's not even necessarily the fact of, like, the happy things make you not depressed. That's not how depression works in isolated. But I think the actively trying to be happy, the actively trying to do something, whatever that task is, and then succeeding at that task, that, like, feeling of success. In my brain, that, like, rewires me to think. Whatever your definition of success is, try and get you some of that. Like, oh, we can only build one until level 30? Oh, that's sad. I guess we don't get any more exports until we find some farmland. And the nearest farmland is quite depressingly far away too. So I guess none of that for me. Didn't want farmland anyway, if I'm being honest. Farmland's lame. Who needs farms? That's where the people who don't trust police live. Yeah, look at that. That's a callback to something I said not very long ago. That's comedy gold right there. But no, so yeah, I think actively... I think success is something that drives most people somewhere in your brain that you don't get when you're depressed, which is another part of what keeps you down. Again, it's one of the many reasons why you're trapped down there. And just having something, again, in my head it was like, how about I just go like 12 hours without my phone? And then also, how about if I get myself some, let's not talk specifics, but like, I'll do this. And how about if I do this, and I'll do this nice thing for myself too, and I'll invest in myself. By invest in myself, I mean I bought myself some frozen yogurt. Frozen yogurt's expensive. It's what I like to call like a rich, peaceful food, like a gentrified food, like a food you get because it's like a vaguely healthy alternative to ice cream. But like you know how that kind of is. So I was like, I'm worth it. I'm gonna get myself some froyo with all the weird Oreos and stuff on it. And yeah, what I'm saying here is it sounds impossible, and it's you don't think anything will ever make things better when you're down, but maybe some froyo will. Or more specifically, like actually having like a plan of what you want to do to fix yourself. And then trying to follow through on that. That sounds ridiculous because you don't know what would do it. But that's how I fixed myself when I was like 14 after like a year of just non-stop depression. And that's I wouldn't say I was like full on depression, but I had like 2 weeks of just like I didn't want to do anything. I had a mortgage thing arrive that had to be sent off by I think tomorrow. I've just sent it off today, and I was like, I'm not dealing with that. Not even opening the envelope. I had home insurance come in, and they're like, so we're charging an extra 12% this year because you haven't opted to call us up and auto renew it. So many companies. This is a UK garbage thing. They charge you more because you auto renew. Like they're like, oh, we're increasing the prices 12% this year. Hope that's okay. If you just call them up, cancel, and then uncancel, or even if you don't uncancel, you just call them up, say, hey, not paying that. They'll be like, oh, that's fine. But like, so I had home insurance coming like that, and I was like, I'm not dealing with this either. I finally dealt with it today, but it's like stuff like that. Just things piling up, and I don't know. Long story short, the more things you don't do in your life, the harder it is to get back. But don't get back all at once. Get back in a manageable way. Plan yourself. Think about what would make a good thing for you, and then try that maybe. I don't know. That's my advice. Maybe it's bad advice, but it's what's worked for me all this time, and it's something that a lot of people who have watched my previous videos have identified with, and maybe you do too. If you don't, then I hope you all enjoyed this video regardless. We're doing pretty well with our city. We started well and we ended well. Like last episode, we were crazy in debt. Funnily enough, as I was doing, just somewhere in between, where I started feeling rough and things were going badly, and now my city is richer than ever, and so is my brain. And maybe if you hit that like button, you'll be emotionally richer than ever. I don't actually care if you hit the like button on this channel. Don't do it. You don't have to. I don't even want you to. I do care though. Just for the sake of like increasing the click-through rates or some garbage BS metric like that, hit the bell button if you want to show up with me higher on your homepage. Maybe, but again, I don't care. Third channel, you know, like, you can unsubscribe. You can hit that like not interested thing next time you see me. It's fine. Do what you gotta do, man. I value your autonomy in the world. But with that said, I hope you all. I'm gonna build a new. Actually, I'm gonna upgrade my bank. I've got a bank over here somewhere. I don't know. Oh, there it is. I'm gonna upgrade my bank, and I'm gonna. Oh, okay. You know, I'm gonna do it right now. And then next episode, we're gonna go in and we're gonna make some serious developments to my world. We're doing pretty well, and hopefully you are too. Thank you very much for watching. And next episode, I'm gonna open this fortune cookie. So, is that exciting? You tell me. Goodbye.